Welcome, everyone. I know both Kate and I are very excited to be here because we're so proud of our humanities program here at Thayer. So welcome. We're going to walk through the history and English programs a little bit for you. And just as this slide says, in both history and English, we're really about bridging the classroom to the wider outside world. So we hope that kind of comes through in what we share with you today, because that's really our focus. And I'm just going to start a little bit with the department goals in history. Our big goal is to inspire a love of the subject for kids. We think it's so important for them to be lifelong learners who are curious, who have the power to pursue their own questions and discern, well-reasoned answers to those questions. And so, we have a heavy emphasis on students helping us co-create the courses along the way, pursuing their interests and stopping and pausing in areas where they seem to be most intrigued. But at the same time, providing a really solid foundation, knowledge that they'll need just to understand the world around them and become informed and active citizens of the world. And along the way, we also have a very skills-based approach. We think it's really important for students to walk away able to interpret things for themselves, analyze things for themselves, to research and produce their own answers, not just for history, but for work in any other field they might go into. And to that end, we offer a full 4 years, full 4-year history program. The first 3 are required. So all students will take 2 years of world history and 1 year of US history before then choosing electives for their senior year. So although not every student takes every single senior elective, we're hoping that we offer students plenty of choices so they can pursue the interests that they have. So each of these, for the most part, is a semester long, so they can take 2 of them or sometimes even 3 of them in a year. And students can choose from a range of things like economics and psychology, social sciences that they might be intrigued about, might pursue in college, or courses that delve into more specialized topics in history, like our modern American culture class, or even AP government if students are interested in the political process. Along the way, there's an honors or AP option at every grade level, as you can tell here. And just to give you a sense of what those courses actually mean, I know world history, US history are sort of generic top names. But hopefully we'll give you a feel for what those things actually entail. Our world history program is actually a little bit unique in that it's a 3-semester survey. So the first 2 semesters comprise your 9th grade year, and then the first half of your 10th grade year is really spent building a foundation of the major themes and developments that have brought us to this modern moment. So helping you understand the course of history from the 1400s on, that helps explain the world we live in today, so that in the 10th grade year, in your spring of your 10th grade year, you can delve more deeply into a current modern issue of your choice. So students in the spring of their 10th grade year will take a capstone elective for deeper study of one region of the world that interests them. And as part of that capstone, they'll develop an independent research project focused on a contemporary issue in their region. We're hoping that along the way, through all those first 2 years, those first 3 semesters of the survey and the capstone elective, that you're coming away with deep knowledge of how the world works, but also really great skills in terms of research and writing and evaluating sources and communicating your findings to others, leaving with confidence and a really strong basis in global affairs. So for instance, in 9th grade, your interest might be piqued by your study of the Middle Passage and the slave trade. You might be taken aback by the horrors of slavery, but then you might also be inspired by the former slave, Toussaint Louverture, who led the Haitian Revolution. And you might then in your 10th grade year in the spring, focus on Haiti as an area of interest. You might do a whole research project on the 2000 earthquake there and the international response, developing a real love for the country and a real expertise in their issues and their history. As an 11th grader, you might delve into the life and the inspirational example of Frederick Douglass, who used education to propel himself and to move the nation as a whole, so that by the time you're a 12th grader, you may combine all of those interests and all of that expertise into an action project that really impacts the world around you. This is an example here on the left of some teachers and individuals involved in a Global Scholars Capstone project related to educational issues in Haiti. So one of our capstone projects involved partnering with an NGO in Haiti, where artisans from Haiti created these lovely angel ornaments that you see here, and that our students sold them as part of a fundraiser and an awareness campaign about, education and the status of education in Haiti. So this is a course, our Global Scholars course, that students can take as 12th graders to develop an independent project, to partner with people around the world to solve real world problems, and to combine their language study, their travel experiences at Thayer into one sort of passion project that they can really use to leave a mark on the world. Not every single student does this, but we love that there's the potential for every Thayer student to have done this in their high school career. We also want to note, though, that a big part of our approach is just balancing challenge with support. So we want to make sure every student is pushed and is developing their skills and their knowledge and is taking a rigorous course. We also want to provide as much support and help as possible to make sure that you're doing that with confidence, that you know that your teachers are there for you. So that is our real, that balance is our real goal. And most students really thrive under that type of atmosphere. So every year we have an increasing number of students who are interested in challenging themselves and moving up into an honors or AP level course. So in the 9th grade, we typically have one section of honors 9th grade history, but by the 12th grade, we have many, many more dozens of students taking AP government, right? So as they move through the grade levels and become more interested or more ready for the challenge, students always have that ability to move up and to challenge themselves. And I know the same is true in English. So I'm going to let Kate kind of take it from here to show you about the English program.
All right, let me just put this up here. And I've got to back up to there we go. Okay, well, welcome. We're so excited to have you here. I'm Kate Heyman, head of the English department. This is my 21st year at Thayer, amazingly. And I love it. I've stayed here because it's a wonderful and strong and innovative community. It allows teachers to grow, it allows students to grow. And it's a good place. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our program, and you might find some clear parallels between what Krista was talking about, what I'll talk about. Okay, so, and let me just bring this down. I don't know if you can see that bar, but I don't want it in the way. Okay, so our department goals, we really want to create not only strong readers and writers and speakers, but students who feel that and passionate about English and engaged with the subject matter and want to take that engagement outside the classroom ultimately and feel confident in their ability to pursue that conversation in the larger world. So it really is about creating conversation beyond the academic sphere. Let's move ahead here. So our course offerings, as Krista said, you can see from 9th grade to 12th grade that we have offerings at the standard level and the honors and AP level. In 9th grade too, we have English 1 workshop, and that's a course to provide that extra support for students who may need it. So covers the same curriculum as our English 1 class, but it is taught by an English teacher who's also a Hale Learning Center instructor to help students with their study skills as well. And all of those students go on to our standard level English 2 course the following year. And it's not unusual for students who start in standard level or English 1 workshop to end up in AP by their junior year. They've gained the confidence, they've gained the skills, and perhaps gained a real love of English by then. In 11th grade, you can see we've got semester-long courses as well as 2 AP course offerings. And then by 12th grade, even more choices for kids as they decide upon their passions, whether that's to do more sophisticated reading in a senior seminar honors course, or to write in our award-winning magazine Voice for that larger audience, which reaches not only their peers, but also alum, faculty, prospective families. And there they're really writing not for the grade, but for the publication and for the feedback and influence they can have in that demographic. Okay, so how do we get them through those courses? I think our theme here is really find a way and an avenue towards engagement. So we give them a lot of varied writing and reading, knowing that something will hook them. These activities will bring them in and generate their best work. And we really focus on process. We know that they are people in process, and their writing is also in process. So hence the picture on the left, which is of my hair when I correct papers. It's fun and messy and colorful, but gets the job done. Okay, so in 9th grade, what I did here was just highlight some of the really cool activities we have our kids do. As you can see in the 9th grade, we're working with some classic texts, and as you scan down, we've also got some contemporary texts. We have creative pieces. We ask them to do analytical work. There's a sophomore short story contest, and we're always working and incorporating, especially recently, more and more public speaking activities and research projects into our curriculum. Okay, so this doesn't end in the classroom. As we were saying, it's about joining that larger conversation outside the classroom. So I wanted to highlight some ways that the English department helps students to do that. One particular way we do that is the Bailey King Author Series. So each year we have a number, 1 to 3 novelists, journalists, poets, playwrights come to visit our school and talk about their trajectories towards working in this field in a professional capacity. On this slide, we've got Derek Green, who is an instructor of creative writing at Yale, talking to our students about the short story. Below in the lower left, that's Kirsten Greenidge. She's an Obie Award-winning playwright who's had works put on at the Huntington. She actually, and that's a lovely photo because it's some of our alums who came back to perform a scene from one of her plays during an evening event that we had for alum, faculty, and parents. So it's really an all-school production. And there in the middle, right down here, is Jason Reynolds on the big screen in the CFA, and he is actually Skyping in with our 9th grade class. They all read his YA novel, All American Boys. It deals a lot with race issues, police violence, gender, and he is answering their questions about the book itself and the writing process. You may be familiar with him because he's also just come out with Stamped, his work with a collaboration with Ibram X. Kendi, who's a pretty well-known writer and activist in his own right. Behind that, we've got some covers from Voice. So Voice is another area where students, as I said before, come out of the classroom and into the larger community with their publication. To mention, I think Krista mentioned this earlier, but the Benelli Writing Center offers additional opportunities for students both to seek support. They can go to the Benelli Writing Center and get help on papers at any stage of process from specially trained fellows, typically 11th and 12th grade students. Or perhaps they're working at the Benelli Writing Center as one of those fellows. And it's a conversation between students about writing. And sometimes we found that, those conversations are more valuable than the conversations they're having one-on-one with the teachers, because it's coming from a peer that's been trained to do it, but is on your side and has been through that assignment themselves. This year also, I don't want to forget, this year in terms of the Bailey King Author Series, we're going to be hosting Cameron McWhirter, who is a Wall Street Journal journalist, and we're also hoping to host Britt Bennett, who wrote this fabulous novel, the vanishing half. We'll see if we can get her, fingers crossed. Next slide here. I just wanted to highlight our public speaking program has become increasingly important to us. Over the past few years, we've integrated it into every level, and each year we make it a little more complex and ask students to do a little bit more. So this is our 12th grade project that we have our seniors do in the spring, and it's for the Words That Change the World competition. So students explore a variety of speeches and land on one that they feel particularly passionate about and connected to. They then research that speaker and try to embody that speaker when they deliver a speech in his or her voice. The best of those speakers and speeches go on to participate in an all-school competition, and those are the pictures you're seeing here. So we've got Aimee Matos, these are all seniors from last year, speaking as Martin Luther King Jr., obviously that very famous speech, I Have a Dream. Caitlin Caulfield in the middle, talking about the dangers of male depression and how we support the men in our community. Top right, that's Noah Downing, who did a wonderful sort of two-person speech as Will Smith and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That was hilarious and moving. He spoke to the stereotypes about Black fathers. And then below him is Sola Asanubi, calling up Angela Davis and delivering a speech from the Women's March. So a really nice range, and the kids were thrilled and excited, and their peers and teachers loved it. So it was a wonderful, I think, a bookmark event to the declamation our 8th graders do earlier. If you are interested in seeing the videos of these speeches, learning more about our public speaking program or anything else in the English department, go to our webpage, the Thayer English webpage, and you can listen to a podcast that our workshop teacher, Mr. Doyle, does. You can take a look at Voice magazine pieces, or you can listen to these speeches, which are really very good.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Krista. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I hope you guys learned something. I did put the link to the landing page. We will start that next part, so you'll have a chance to choose a new session. Thank you for joining us, and have a great day.